Hello scrapbookers, today we're going to be making a layout using an old photo and newer photos and telling a story that links the two. So go grab your photos and your supplies and let's start scrapbooking. Hi scrapbookers, so I was getting ready to put this one together, and this background paper wasn't in the kit. It's a Jenny Bullen paper, but it was not in the kit, so I'm just going to turn that over. And yeah, Jenny Bullen 2007. But I wanted to use this picture of my dad with this "Let's Build a Fire," and so I found this library card. I thought looked like the ends of, logs, right? So I thought that would be a good fit. And then my dad he died, and so my kids will never really get to know him. But I did find, so that's kind of sad. It is sad, but I found these photos of a camping trip that we went on a while back, and like when my kids were much smaller. And so I was thinking, like, kind of dividing the paper up this way. So this would be a different treatment than the rest of this. And then adding some pictures in from our camping trip so that I could, because what happened was this past weekend, I took my son and his friend to this little island that's near our house, and this other mom came over and she was like, "Oh, you're the best mom," and I was like, "Yeah, just tell my kids." But so I always want to add as much as I can onto these, and I might not get all of the pictures here. Probably, this is so cute, but I'm probably going to skip that one. And then, yeah, we've got everybody in the picture here, so that's good. And then, I guess the fire can be underneath us, right? And we get the little logs there. But anyways, we like made this fire, and it was really awesome, and over the weekend. And I was like, the lady was like, "Oh, how do you do all this, why do you do all this going outdoors with your kids?" I guess what she was trying to say. And I was thinking, well, oh, it's my dad was an outdoorsman, and that's really like a big part of it is my kids will never get to know my dad, but I kind of take up that torch. Get it? Torch. But yeah, I really do. And so I think what I want to do is trim these photos down a little bit and have on this side of the paper have it really be mostly our photos from the current time, and then on this side of the paper have it be my dad, with this being kind of the bridge in between them. So let's start trimming. I also had these two little cut aparts, but I kind of like them as, like, they look like fire, right? And I think that they could work in different places to kind of make that visual triangle. So let's get started. So I want to trim these pictures down, but I don't want to trim them down like a lot, like a little bit, but not a ton. So this picture that I'm working with of my dad is actually a picture of a picture. And usually I trim that with the guillotine cutter, but this time I think I'm going to just trim it by hand because I like the edges on this photo. Okay, so there's a picture of my dad. So that's going to get like its own little column, right? Haha, I like that The bottom of that photo almost looks like it's been singed. I also kind of like it if I do this kind of a thing. Something like that. Okay. So I'm not sure how I want to trim these photos yet, or even if I want to use all of them, but let's start trimming. So that we can get it going here. So I can definitely trim this here, this fire picture, and I think I'm going to want to trim that into a square. So that would be 4 by 4. Let's see if we can trim it up just a little bit more to like 3.5 by 3.5. Yep, there we go. That's looking better. And then let's pull up this piece of paper again just to play with how the pictures are going to be arranged. Okay. So if I was gonna start trimming this photo, but I kind of really like all that perspective of it, so I don't think I'm going to. So the two that I've removed are these two, and I initially had them on the layout. I also have like a whole ton of other photos from that same camping trip, but I'm not going to use every photo, although I'm tempted. So I'm imagining something kind of like, let's trim this photo this way just a little bit. And then I sort of want to trim all this, but I don't want to, there we go. I did it. I always want to leave the pictures as big as I can. So here's another. If we kind of layer those photos up a little, that's how they could look. I think I can probably trim this one a little off the bottom. I don't think that's super necessary. So the more that I can trim, the more space I'm going to have for, you know, the embellishments and everything else. Just trim this a little bit more. And I'm thinking this one could even use a little bit more trimming. And maybe it's not a square, but all of that bottom part is pretty much white space on the photo. So now it shows, you know, building on fire isn't as easy as you would think. I mean, we really had to work at it yesterday. There we go. So something approximately like that. And then my dad's going to be on this side of the photo. Okay, and then I'm thinking that, so I'm going to remove my cutter here for a minute. But I'm thinking the flow of this page could kind of go like, these are either up here, and he starts out kind of down here. I think that's the ticket right there. So I'll be back. I'm going to get a base piece of paper, then I'm going to get something that goes here, and then something that goes in the rest of that space. Okay, I will be back. Oops. Okay, so I kind of put this page together. Wood grain didn't come in the kit, but there is a piece of actual wood grain in the kit, and also these colors are in the kit, but I've just used regular cardstock and cut them on the silhouette. So that's going to be the basis of my page, and because I'm using, because I'm making so many pages, I have just supplemented my kit with just a few like really basic things that I think you could replicate pretty easily. So this is about what it's going to look like, and let's start putting this together. Hold on, I'll be right back. Hey scrapbookers, so I've got the photos adhered and the backgrounds and the background papers, and I just adhered them to a piece of paper that I didn't think I was going to ever use, but it was nice, solid, sturdy weight, so thriftiness, you know, that's me. And then I started to cut up these little cut-apart sheets because I don't think I'm going to be using the Rake It Up. We don't have, you know, a lot of leaves here in Florida. And the You and Me in a Tree, I don't know. I didn't think I was going to use it. So I was going to just use these little, like, they kind of look like fire to me. But then I liked the idea of this branch, and I think that I can just tuck it right underneath this to kind of tie into this yellow color over here. So I started liking that idea. And I think it just kind of leads your eye up a little, so I'm going to just tuck that in there if I can find some sticky dots. The other thing that I did off camera was that I punched 2 holes out of the library card, and so I just used like an old-fashioned punch, and I punched one out of the front because you don't see that, and one out of the back. And even when you lift it up, you still, you know, you take this out of the, take the card out of the library sleeve, you don't see it, and it doesn't, it's fine. It's actually good, I like it. So I got 2 more little, you know, places where I can have that log looking paper, that because I really think it looks like a log. I think I might cover up this hot spot on the photo too, because that's where the tent is, and I think the sun is hitting it, and it's just really it's bright over there. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put a little circle over this way, yeah, something like that. Let me just tack it there while I'm thinking about it, because if you've watched my videos, you've known, and I'm kind of learning about myself that if I sort of like something, that's a good time to stick it down. Yeah. So we'll just stick that down, and I'm going to leave it a little bit so it's still within. Okay. So then my next thought was, oops, forgot what I was doing. Good to focus. So I'm going to just tuck this under a little bit. And then I think that just does a nice little job of bringing your eye kind of like from where he was going up to here, and then hopefully around that way. So now let's, I don't think I'm going to need any more of this. Just kind of seeing if I could use one more little bit of that. I sort of like the idea of let's just do it like, let's just cut a little half circle now that we're going with the circles. So there's a little half circle, and that could just kind of stick out up here if I want another one of those, another yellow element. I'm not sure that I do, but nice to have the option. Although I kind of, yeah, I can always take it away later. So I'm just going to stick that underneath. And now, now we're ready for the layering. And what I've really learned about layering is that, you know, especially with the little bits underneath, is the less you do, the better. So let's first chop this up according to these lines that are right in the middle of the diagonals and see how that looks. And I instantly think I'm going to need more of this stuff. I'm probably going to need to cut that other one. But if you leave all of this, that's one look. And then if you kind of scooch it in even more, you get probably a better look. So I'm going to scooch it in even more. And I want to have that here and here. And I think that does a nice job of tying in this red in the boy's shirt and the wagon. Oops. This kind of looks like the fire is building. And then now this part, I do need to just get another, like the full sheet of it, because I've kind of used it all up over there. That's okay. Yeah, I don't see myself using this, so I'm going to cut it so that I want these little tops of the fires to come up. But I'm probably not going to, again, not going to need that whole bit. I don't think I will. Let me test it out. Maybe I will. Maybe that will have just a little bit bigger of a, that's going to just be a little bit, well, see how it looks skinnier. I actually think I like that one kind of a little bit more spaced, like that having more space to it. Okay. So I'm getting closer on putting all of the layouts together, and I've done things a little differently in that I'm saving all of the titles and journaling and all that sort of thing for the end. So I have, I think, about 5 or 6 layouts done to about this point, and then I am going to put some embellishments on this one. And what I started to realize was when I was putting these together is that it is really kind of nice if you have, you know, spots where you can absolutely put embellishments. And so by making these circles, I was like, this is going to solve my problems. Okay, so I'm going to put this little Your Hoot right next to my son in this little spot. And so now, like, by using the circles, I've got a little spot for it. So, oh, you know what? I'm not sure I want to have that. So when I had initially done it, I was going to put this circle here. So it would have been circle, circle, and then yeah, I changed my mind a little bit. That's totally fine. So I think what we want to do is have 3 spots for circles, but I think this one, let's just move that down a little bit so it's still going in this kind of diagonal flow of the page. Just wondering if I should have put that on top of these little wood looking things. They're like, yeah, I think that's, what do you think? It's a maybe, right? But I also feel like now I've got it, I need something up here too. And it could be that little birdie. It might be that maybe the You're a Hoot goes over here. That's kind of cute, actually. Let's see if we can get him up there. Yeah, I think I like that a little bit better. And then, so now we still have like a diagonal going, but I do have some opportunities over here for some different arrangements. So if I put this, let's see. What do you think about that? I don't think that's good. I think if we just keep going this way, that's kind of looking a whole lot better, right? I think these reds are pretty good together. So there's that What a Day, and I'm just wondering if I want to put this up here. I don't think I do. So I've got the You're a Hoot, and then I've got these owls that I like the idea of using one of these owls, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's working. I also think now, just looking at it, that I've got these 2 places for this red, and I'm thinking it might be cool to like have this be kind of like a piece of tape, you know, on top of him, like kind of holding the piece down. Let me try that. And what I'm going to want to do is maybe rip the edges. So I'm just going to rip one edge, I think. What do we think? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? I also could put it kind of underneath. I think I like it over top. And I will tell you that putting these pages together like this, I am stressing a little bit about the titles and the journaling and like where the embellishments are going and stuff like that. Like here I know that my journaling is most likely going to go on this card. But now I'm kind of wondering like, well, where is my title going to go? So I have 2 kind of options for the title, and one is this orange, which I like a lot, and I could see the title going kind of in this space here. But I was also thinking that it might be fun to work in these huge letters, but then I wasn't really sure that I had the space. And I was thinking like it might be fun to use my dad's initials, which I don't think, you know, like it's I'm not sure I've got enough. It would be RTF, and I don't think I've really left enough space there. did them maybe like this. I think my husband is kind of like grabbing my son so he doesn't like get into the fire, or he isn't such a, you know, it looks kind of like they're holding hands, but I think it wasn't that, I don't think, not sure it was that friendly. I mean, it was, but might have been a little more intense than it looks. Or maybe it does. And then this would be kind of like the notion that my dad's initials are kind of all over this. You know what I mean? Kind of, sort of. Let's just see. And what I like about these letters is they're not, I'm not going to be able to fit the RTF there. But I like these letters in that they seem to be really easy to like put somewhere and then change your mind and move them around. And I'm usually, you know, I like to say pick it and stick it, but I also like to move things around sometimes. There we go. That's how RTF would look. And looking at that, I would think that maybe, maybe no. I'm going to take that off. I'll be back. Okay, well, I still have you here. I took the letters off, and so I don't think I'm going to use those on this layout. But then I just had a little tweak for over here, because in this space that these came out of, I can, so I'm just going to layer this up just a little bit more. It's not earth-shattering, but it's just a little tiny detail that sometimes if you can just add a little bit and add it in a way that's kind of monochromatic like that, then it just gives a little bit more interest, and it also ties in with this pinking over here, so then it feels like there is a reason for it. And I would like to add that. I'm going to just put it so it's kind of even with the ones on the other side, and it is sticking off the page a little, so I'm just going to trim off the edge so it's going to fit into the page protector. And then I would like to add maybe something like that, like somewhere else on this page, and I could even maybe go like here, kind of like right in this little space. And again, I'm not like super sure, but it's good to kind of play around, and let me just see if I can scooch that in. So I don't think I'm going to use that. Oh, maybe I can use this. No, maybe I use the yellow there. Let's try that little yellow. Remember that one? Behind over here, which I don't think is, oh, actually it was doing its job over here. Never mind. We're going to leave it there because I think that was useful up there. But I could see like something that was tucked under here that maybe incorporated that yellow a little bit, or orange, because we've got a little bit of orange there, and I don't have anything specifically in mind right now, but I'm just going to leave this here, and it's not all the way, it's not even, I haven't adhered that. But I would also like to use this other circle and maybe there, maybe there. And now I'm really just, you know, I'm a little nitpicking. I do like that there. But something needs to go in the middle of it. Oh, maybe this. That could be cute. Let's try it. Just like a half circle. So it's something like this. Yeah. So I put pop dots under here, but I'm going to have to kind of pull that up to get that in there, or cut it off. But I think I like that idea. Okay, we're chugging along here. We're getting lots of layouts done, and that is fun. It is fun. Maybe this little circle thing goes underneath here. Or not. Maybe it goes all the way down. Yeah. Like this. Or, and this is when you can kind of like start to drive yourself a little nuts, but it could be cute up there too. Maybe. And then if I did it up there, I could do like a little bird told me. And then I'm thinking that could be like a little overkill, but I actually kind of like the way that this little birdie works together with the green in the tent. And then let's just try this little bumper again. It feels like it's blocking it in just a little bit too much. Maybe here. Now I initially I thought I was going to use these circles as a place to put embellishments, and it's kind of not working out that way. That's okay. Let's just try this again. And now I'm fretting too much, but I also think, okay, so if I did it like this, right? I'm getting the cutesy in there, and I've got, now I feel like if I put this red up here, right? I like it. It's good. But then I also think I can work some of that red into the title, which maybe is going to go over here. And this might be a page with not much of a title. But I do want to say something about like remembering my dad, because and like telling that story of my dad and I really had to drag my husband on this. Like, he is not an outdoorsman. He was a good sport, but he's not, this is not his thing, you know? And it was my dad's thing, like the camping and being outdoors. And so I think, and you know, when I was a kid, I didn't necessarily think it was awesome. I would have rather been, you know, watching MTV, which we didn't have. But I think that it is a good part of your childhood to go out into nature. All right, let's put these cute little acorns here. because we actually have we have pine cones in that fire there. But I'm kind of layering up things that, with the two, I could also write something about, like, my son really does, in certain ways, remind me of my dad. So I can maybe work that in somehow. All right, I'm going to put this aside for a little while, but I feel like I've made a lot of progress on that. I also feel like maybe this green color could come in down here somewhere. And maybe it could be these hearts. Although I have no idea where they would go. And I feel like putting something on that part of the picture is not helping, so let's not do that. But I do maybe like the idea of a little tiny bit of green. Like very, very tiny. Let's try a couple things here. Could be something like this underneath, and that would just bring that little green in just a little bit. Could also do something like not good, but just something that maybe brings that a little bit of green down in there. And I'm not sure how I want that to go, so I'm just going to tuck that in. It is not adhered, so I can remove it later when I do the title on this page. But I'm just going to leave it there for now because that does give, like, I've got the visual triangle of 3 circles going this way and then one going this way. Okay, I'll be back with this. Hi scrapbookers, so I had to finish a bunch of pages, as you may know, and so I don't have process videos for the embellishment portions of the pages, so I just showed you this one in another video, and so the next one I want to show is this one that I'm calling Let's Build a Fire, and I didn't put a title on this, like I'm kind of using this little spot as the title, and so the story of this page is really about my dad, and that's my dad when he was a kid. I just found that photo recently. I'd never seen it before, but I got it at my aunt's house over the summer. Sorry about the glare on the photo. But it kind of had singed edges, which I liked and which I thought went with the theme of this page. And then these photos are from a Cub Scout camping trip. So what did I do? I put 3, so there's like a visual triangle of the 3 circles, and I actually cut with a circle punch. I cut out of this library card the circle, so I'd have more of that pattern, and it's totally covered up and it doesn't like affect the usefulness of that little tag at all. And so there's photos of us with the fire. It says, "My kids never got to know my dad. My dad grew up in Maine and loved the outdoors. I try to instill this love of nature in my city-born kids. This was Mac's first Cub Scouts camping trip in 2008. Lately we build fires over at the island, and while it is harder than it looks, we are getting better." I think my dad would be proud. So that is the finished layout of Let's Build a Fire. And I will post this on my blog, but it will also, my blog is called Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking, but it will also be over probably at the Jenny Bullen Mercantile Inspiration blog and in her gallery over there. It's also in the membership section or the membership gallery for Masterful Scrapbook Design at Get It Scrapped, and it's in the sharing in that gallery. So thanks for watching. That's the finished layout. We'll get to the next one. I have more.